You cover both teams, basketball, football. Most years, the second late night happens, it's like, thank God. Do you feel a little bit more hesitancy or maybe not as much excitement for basketball because of the fact that you actually have another team that's been entertaining you for the past 2 months?
Football's good. That's new. That's changed the fall in Lawrence. Also, that extension of the championship kind of celebration and euphoria.
Isn't that weird how there's a lack of urgency to start the next season? Because the second you start the next season, you can no longer ride the wave of the championship from last year.
Every time in my life that the Broncos have won the Super Bowl, it's been an unbelievable feeling.
Every time. Oh,
my team won. Yay, right? But like, I actually kind of, to your point, I almost, there's a tinge of just hating it a little bit because, well, they're not going to go back to back. Everyone knows that. I mean, they did once, but you know what I'm saying. Like,
I hate you so much right now. I just want you to know that. I hate you so much.
I did the math once. I think they have averaged appearing in the Super Bowl once every 5 years of my life.
Okay, this episode's over. I'm done. I'm like, it's not even joking. Not even having fun anymore.
Okay, this is Basketball Friends.
Basketball enemies. This is Basketball Friends. He is Matt Tate. I am Nick Schwert. I'm looking at the roster right now, Matt, and I see a lot of new faces for this Kansas team. Sometimes you have a tendency to forget that not every Kansas basketball fan lives on Twitter and is on the message boards looking at the top 5 rankings of all of these kids who are whittling down their lists and going on YouTube and watching highlight packages. For a lot of people, seeing some of these kids for the first time is literally going to be the first time you are introduced to their games. And with so many of them playing into the equation, I want to play a little get to know you. So let's start at the very top. Grady Dick, Gatorade National Player of the Year, Sunrise Christian Academy down the road in Wichita. He's a guy who Bill Self talked pretty highly of at Big 12 Media Days in terms of the type of role he could play for KU this year.
He's got a chance to be a real big-time impact player. He's been talked up as a shooter. He's got the really high release. He's 6'8". You know, you're not blocking that shot.
Is he a real 6'8", or is he 6'5", 6'8"?
6'6", 6'7". So if you're 6'6" or 6'7", aren't you 6'8"?
Right, and if you're 6'8", you're basically 7 feet.
There you go, round. He's a much bigger weapon than just a shooter. I think that's what they'll want from him most and need from him most. And it probably is his best skill, but he's a really good athlete. He can handle it a little bit. He can go get his own shot. You know, is he a Josh Jackson immediate impact, that kind of freshman? Probably not. But if he plays his role and others around him play their roles and get him involved the right way, he could have a similar impact in terms of the statistics and his importance on this team. So there's a lot to like about the guy. Did you see his commercial? Have you seen that?
Yeah. The Ford commercial, right?
I mean, look, that's the thing. Like, so he's the Gatorade National Player of the Year. And everyone I've talked to, including Bill Self, have told me that makes him the number one most marketable NIL guy on this Kansas basketball roster, because that is a national thing. And you're going to get opportunities that just don't exist for others because of that.
I think you're burying the lead here. The reason why he's the most marketable player on the roster is because his name is Grady Dick, and he's a white guy who shoots threes and has a little cockiness to him.
You got me. That's fair. That's fair. They had their ladies' night out NIL thing the other night where 500 women came and got a behind-the-scenes look at the basketball program and got to meet the coaches and players. And there were grown women wearing Dick shirts. Like, it's a thing, and I think he's got a real chance to start. I think he probably will, and I think fans are going to love him, man. And you're right, opposing fans are going to hate him.
But that's the true sign of, like, how good are you right away. If other fans are indifferent towards you, then you're not a big deal. If other fans hate you, it's likely because you're scoring on them.
Yep.
And that, to me, like, I know sometimes we oversimplify things with what a player's role should be on this team. But in a year where you lose so much production from a season ago and two of your best players, Jalen and DeJuan, like the two returners, I don't know that I would say scoring is the number one attribute for either of them.
Right.
Right? Not to say that they're not good. That's just like not what they've been known for. They do a lot of the other stuff. For a guy like Grady Dick, who seems to be a natural scorer, that might be the biggest thing for him right away. Like, can you consistently put the ball in the bucket? Because this team's going to need it.
And it's not just 3-point shooting. It's transition. It's using his length to get deflections and create chaos and easy baskets. Self said he was one of their best post players even.
We talked about the big man rotation. That's probably the one spot, the 5 spot that's most up in the air. Ernest Udeh is the top-rated big guy in this recruiting class. We know the history of freshman big men under Bill Self, where you can sort of see the talent. You can see the reason why this coaching staff wanted them, yet there are a variety of things that tend to keep those guys on the bench as opposed to on the court. What does this guy bring to the table? How much of a role do you think he can play in year one?
I like that he knows, even though he's just a freshman, I like that he knows what plays. I like that he knows how to play the game. I like that he understands that hustle, motor, effort, energy, those things get you on the floor. If you come in with that understanding and you show Bill Self that you can handle it and be out there and use all those things to your advantage, you play. That's particularly true with Ernest when you're looking at Self clearly saying that none of these big men have impressed him so far. They're still looking for a guy to emerge. Zach Clements has a role, no doubt about it. Zuby Ejiofor, the other freshman, has a role. He'll play. But Ernest is coming in with the right mindset, and freshman or not, he's going to show Self, you should play me. Do I think he'll be a stud David McCormick in the championship game kind of guy? No, I don't. But I think he'll be a guy that you can't keep off the floor, and I think it's because he does all those things well. He's active. He can move. He's athletic. He can go get you buckets that are just off of hustle and effort. And with this team, I think that's all they need.
The last guy I want to ask you about is MJ Rice, because he's a guy who plays the wing where Kansas seems to be deepest, right? That's where some of your best players are, whether it's Jalen or McCullough or Dick. He's also a guy that, I guess, depending on who you talk to, like flirted with potentially not playing in college. He had offers to go overseas. He had offers to play in the G League. Now he winds up at Kansas. Great athlete. What else is there to his game, and how does he crack what is probably the deepest position group on the team?
If he can get out of his head a little bit, he can be a star. His talent is next level. I think he can score from all 3 levels. He's not a great outside shooter, but he can shoot it. He's physical. He doesn't mind contact. He creates contact. He can score at the bucket. He can score on a pull-up jumper. He's got a good-looking shot. I mean, he just needs to not think it so much and just go out and play. And that'll come. Self has said a ton already that the guy that MJ will be in February is going to be a way better player than he is right now. So he's got to stay patient. He's got to hang in there. MJ and Grady are really close. They got close throughout their high school time, playing against and with each other. They're roommates. That can help him. MJ also knows Bobby Pettiford from like when they were children. I mean, they grew up like a few houses away from each other, and their connection's really big too. So I think that can help a guy who's trying to find comfort when you know there's a couple guys that you already feel that comfortable around. And he's a big name. He's got a splashy kind of personality and profile and all that. People are going to want to see it right away. It probably won't be there right away, but give him some time and you're going to freaking love him.